And to be quite honest with you, I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted with Sue Bird.
After the current decline in viewership and the growing lack of interest in the WNBA, Sue Bird has come full circle in what she is now say about Caitlin Clark. If you enjoy this content, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 83% of people watch have not subscribed yet. It is completely free and only takes a moment, but it truly means everything to us. So have you subscribed? Already amazing. Thank you so much for your incredible support. Now let's get back to the video.
This is what we want. Instead, we're still getting bullshit on viewers.
Stephen A. Smith was not going to sit around and allow Caitlin Clark to be hated on. Stephen A. Smith had supported Caitlin Clark throughout the season, and he was not going to stop now things became quite heated between the two.
ESPN. So because I work at my day job on ESPN, I'm supposed to ignore the fact.
Sue Bird objected to Stephen A. Smith pointing out that there is a decline in viewership and that no one is particularly interested in watching the WNBA finals.
Stephen A. Smith talk about it. I've seen Shannon Sharpe talk about it. And that's what I just don't understand is they work for ESPN. So why are you hating on a product that ESPN
that they invest in?
Yeah, that's where these viewership numbers are coming. Yeah, it's a business you're in. It's not that they can't. And by the way, it's not that they can't be critical of certain things. They can have their opinions. But that's where I don't understand.
Even though Stephen A. Smith is employed by ESPN, he still speaks his genuine thoughts about viewership and market realities surrounding current events. The WNBA has been having trouble keeping the same numbers without Caitlin Clark, who is a tremendous draw. Sue Bird believes that even if stadiums are still packed and large crowds are still attending, ticket prices have dropped significantly, which is why fans are still showing up, paying only $10 for a playoff game ticket. But do we really think the WNBA would sell tickets for the same prices if Caitlin Clark were playing? Obviously not.
Tickets at the Target Center in Minnesota selling for as low as $10.
Sue Bird, a WNBA legend and one of the most well-known figures in women's basketball, has recently been caught in an unexpected and intense controversy. It all started when Sue Bird allegedly blamed Caitlin Clark for the recent decline in WNBA playoff ratings and ticket sales. Many people were surprised by Sue Bird's remarks because Caitlin Clark's impact on the sport has been widely recognized for bringing significant attention.
Shannon Sharpe starts to talk about the attendance and says, like, basically that Caitlin had the highest attendance in the playoffs, which Caitlin Clark played her first 2 rounds in Connecticut, which only holds roughly 10,000, and they got swept, so they never made it back to Cambridge in Indiana to play a home game. So they absolutely did not have that.
Sue Bird, a longtime advocate for growth and resilience of the WNBA, felt that Stephen A. Smith's remarks painted the league in an unfairly negative light. In her view, it undermined the collective effort of the players and the league's development over the years. Sue Bird was quick to push back against this narrative, determined to protect the image of the WNBA and show that it could thrive beyond one player's impact. Sue Bird's frustration was not directed only at Stephen A. Smith. She also took aim at Shannon Sharpe, who had similarly highlighted the massive attention Caitlin Clark had brought to women's basketball. Both Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe have been vocal in praising Caitlin Clark, repeatedly recognizing her as a major reason for the surge in viewership and interest in the sport. However, for Sue Bird, the strong focus on Caitlin Clark seemed to undermine the broader efforts of the WNBA. Sue Bird remained firm that the league's growth should not depend on one player, believing that it could continue to thrive through collective efforts rather than individual star power alone.
There is a Caitlin Clark effect on all of basketball, and especially on women's basketball ratings. Kudos to her. She has elevated an entire sport in view.
However, it is difficult to ignore the reality of the situation. Caitlin Clark's outstanding college basketball performances brought unprecedented attention, and many hoped that this momentum would carry over to the WNBA playoffs. Without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA faced a significant challenge in maintaining the excitement and fan engagement she had generated. The league found itself in a difficult position, trying to figure out how to fill the void left by her absence and maintain the same level of interest.
Stephen A. and with Shannon, there's an aspect of them like defending their stances on her. Like, we were right about Caitlin and this is our defense. And I still think there's something twisted there because nobody ever said that Caitlin wasn't going to be a marketing gem, a unit.
One of the ways the WNBA addressed a decline in interest was by lowering ticket prices for playoff games. Fans quickly noticed that without Caitlin Clark's presence, ticket prices dropped significantly, a clear sign that the league was trying to fill seats on the surface. It appeared that the WNBA was successfully selling out games and maintaining strong attendance. But the reality was more complicated. The decision to lower ticket prices was a deliberate strategy to avoid the embarrassment of empty arenas during important matchups, while also hiding the true level of fan interest.
You guys take a look at the stands. All the seats, even the courtside seats, are empty.
The numbers, however, tell a different story. Without the buzz and excitement that Caitlin Clark consistently brought to the game, the WNBA has struggled to generate the same level of interest from fans. Sue Bird's early support of Caitlin Clark's impact on the sport has made her recent comments even more surprising. When Caitlin Clark first burst onto the scene, Sue Bird was among the first to recognize her incredible potential to transform women's basketball. This change in approach suggests Sue Bird is now more focused on protecting the league's long-term image.
To the Liberty Games, they're full. It looks full in Vegas. It looks full every single place that you go. TD Garden sold out when Caitlin wasn't playing there for a regular
It's now evident that Caitlin Clark's ability to attract massive attention to women's basketball has made her both a hero and in some circles a target. This is a common occurrence for athletes who become well-known so quickly. While many fans have celebrated Caitlin Clark's rapid rise, others see her success as a challenge to the status quo. Cheryl Swoops, another WNBA legend, has also expressed conflicting opinions about Caitlin Clark's influence.
Caitlin Clark come into the WNBA and do what she's doing right now. Immediately, absolutely.
It is now evident that Caitlin Clark's ability to attract so much attention to women's basketball has made her both a hero and in some circles a target. This is something that often happens to athletes who become well-known so quickly. While many fans have praised Caitlin Clark's rapid rise, others see her success as a challenge to the status quo. Cheryl Swoops, another WNBA legend, has also shared conflicting views about Caitlin Clark's influence.
People stick around and want to watch the others. A rising tide lifts all boats, which is what we were saying, both Shannon Sharpe and myself, when we addressed that issue. Why would you say a quote like that? We work for ESPN, so I'm supposed to turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to the facts? That ain't what...
Her ability to captivate casual fans brought a surge of interest that the league has struggled to replicate. Now, in her absence, the WNBA finds itself trying to maintain that momentum as it faces a challenge of sustaining the excitement Caitlin Clark created and filling the gap left by her star power. Caitlin Clark, for her part, has remained focused on her game, consistently performing at an elite level despite the growing attention surrounding her. As her star continues to rise, it has become increasingly difficult to ignore the growing number of critics driven by reasons ranging from jealousy to insecurity. Some people will always push back against an athlete who appears to have it all: a meteoric rise, devoted fans, and undeniable talent.
WNBA playoff viewership down now that Caitlin is out. And is that somewhat factually accurate? Yes. It's not accurate. Viewership numbers with Caitlin Clark are astronomical. She is a big draw.
Yeah.
She brings in all the things.
Despite her enormously beneficial influence on the sport, Caitlin Clark has had her fair share of critics and haters. These critics often seem more focused on tearing down her success than recognizing the attention and excitement she has brought to women's basketball. Still, Caitlin Clark has remained focused on her performance, handling the pressure and criticism while continuing to elevate both her game and the sport overall. What is especially frustrating about this situation is that the criticism aimed at Caitlin Clark does not appear to be based on anything she has actually done wrong. On the contrary, her remarkable popularity has brought more eyes to women's basketball and helped raise the profile of the entire WNBA. In the process, Caitlin Clark's outstanding performances and magnetic personality have not only attracted new fans, but also sparked fresh conversations about the future of the sport. Yet, instead of receiving widespread praise for these accomplishments, Caitlin Clark has faced skepticism and in some cases open hostility from certain people. This backlash feels difficult to justify because Caitlin Clark has done nothing but excel and promote the game, bringing the spotlight that the WNBA has long been seeking.
And to imply that we should just ignore the impact that Caitlin Clark had on this team, this league, this sport, nah, it doesn't work.
This pattern of tearing down successful female athletes is nothing new, but it is especially disappointing in the context of women's basketball, a sport that is still working toward mainstream recognition and respect. Caitlin Clark has the potential to become a transformative figure in the game, much like Michael Jordan or LeBron James were for the NBA, with the ability to attract fans and elevate the sport to new heights. However, rather than rallying behind her and building on the momentum she brings, Some within the WNBA appear hesitant to fully embrace what Caitlin Clark represents. This reluctance to support her stardom points to deeper insecurities within the sport where groundbreaking success is sometimes met with resistance. For Sue Bird, the tension is clear. On one hand, Sue Bird has always been an advocate for the WNBA's success and wants the league to thrive whether Caitlin Clark is part of it or not. She understands that for the WNBA to remain successful over the long term, it needs to be seen as strong and thriving beyond one standout player, though it is difficult to deny that a large part of the league's recent success is directly connected to Caitlin Clark's ability to attract viewers. Sue Bird's public frustration with commentators like Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe likely comes from a desire to keep the WNBA from being viewed as overly dependent on Caitlin Clark,
regardless of whatever noise has been out there. So when you show that you're able to perform in the face of adversity, to me, that is the true test.
The WNBA is currently having difficulty maintaining its position in the highly competitive sports world. Without Caitlin Clark, the league's decision to lower ticket prices during playoff games is a clear sign that it is aware of this challenge, even though it has not publicly acknowledged it. By lowering prices, the WNBA was able to keep arenas fuller, but it is clear that this approach is a short-term solution rather than a long-term answer. The WNBA continues to promote the idea that it can succeed without Caitlin Clark, despite the data suggesting otherwise.
I know when they got eliminated from the playoffs, the attendance dropped. Right. The ratings drop. If the WNBA is more, it is, and I get it. Why aren't people?
Attendance and viewership have noticeably declined since Caitlin Clark's absence, proving her tremendous value to the league's success. The challenge moving forward will be how the WNBA can maintain fan interest and generate the same level of excitement when Caitlin Clark is not in the spotlight. And without players of her caliber, the league must find new ways to keep fans engaged, and the sport-relevant figures like Sheryl Swoopes and now potentially Sue Bird have raised concerns about the amount of attention Caitlin Clark is receiving, even though her skyrocketing popularity has only helped elevate the WNBA as a whole instead of celebrating Caitlin Clark's success and her ability to bring more attention to women's basketball. Some within the sport appear threatened by a rise questioning whether one player should receive so much attention. It highlights a broader tension over balancing individual stardom with the league's collective growth.
People fighting tooth and nail the entire season, not wanting it to be this way because other people weren't getting flowers, or she was getting too much attention, or she gets a special whistle, or I'm gonna check her off the ball here.
Ultimately, Caitlin Clark is doing nothing but good for the WNBA. She has attracted new fans, greatly increased viewership, and created excitement around women's basketball in ways the league has never experienced before.
Clark, like, what was your adjustment to her? Because that's really like some Steph Curry type of adjustment.
No, Caitlin is tough. She's good as advertised. I mean, in the WNBA, like, they said she's struggling and stuff like that, right? She had 20 points in her debut, 10 turnovers, but, like, I mean, if you have 20 points in your debut and that's a bad game, then, like...
That's considered a bad game. That's heavy, bro.
What does a good game look like? You know what I'm saying? So, playing against Caitlin Clark, like, she's really that dude.
I feel like the pressure on her is on some LeBron drafted into the NBA type of pressure. Like,
the pressure is definitely
the pressure is there. Like, even if she do one wrong thing, the clips is gonna be.
Hopefully, as time goes on, more people will realize just how much Caitlin Clark has contributed to the WNBA. The league's recent struggles without her should serve as a wake-up call to anyone who questioned her importance. Without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA simply does not have the same level of excitement, energy, or viewership. And that should encourage serious reflection throughout the sport. It is time for everyone, including fans, players, and commentators, to fully recognize how important Caitlin Clark is to the future of women's basketball. Please share your thoughts in the comment section, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you do not miss anything. We will see you in the next one after you click the video on your screen.